As the spread of COVID-19 continues, people are asked to keep social distancing with each other. The global pandemic has called into question everything our culture has taught us about how we space ourselves in relation to other people. In this time of social distancing, it's worth thinking about how our individual boundary style, as well as our personality, shape our response to the public as well as private health. Boundary style is the characteristic way we behave when encountering other people. Proxemics, developed by Edward Hall, is the study of human use of space. Edward defined proxemics as the interrelated observations and theories of humans' use of space as a specialized elaboration of culture. In proxemics, there are 4 kinds of distance that people generally use in communication. These are known as realms of personal territory, intimate space, personal space, social space, and public space. So how does our brain detect proximity and keep different interpersonal distances? Research links the amygdala with emotional reactions to proximity to other people. The amygdala mediates the repulsive force that helps to maintain interpersonal distance. As the consequences of our psychological mechanism and of our culture, personal space is the region surrounding a person which they regard as psychologically theirs. Entering somebody's personal space is normally an indication of familiarity and sometimes intimacy. Most people value their personal space and feel discomfort, anger, or anxiety when their personal space is encroached. However, in modern society, especially in crowded urban communities, it can be difficult to maintain personal space. Many people find such physical proximity to be psychologically disturbing and uncomfortable. It is a challenge to maintain personal space in these urban spaces. And the recent life shows that it is also a challenge to keep social distancing and maintain the safety space during the pandemic. The pandemic proxemics is a different observation about people's perception and use of space in the extreme circumstances and public disasters such as the COVID-19 pandemic. As the virus spreads from person to person, social distancing is an effective way to slow the spread of the virus. However, there are some difficulties for people to follow social distancing. On the one hand, for many people, it is intuitively difficult to follow this behavior change and to stay away from our families and friends. We have profoundly human and evolutionarily hardwired impulses for connection. But social distancing asks us to suppress our nature for being together. On the other hand, as more and more people are aware of the danger of the virus, they feel unsafe and uncomfortable when they are exposed to others within a short distance. The more the person perceives the danger of close contact, the larger the safe zone the person has. In this case, our individual boundary style is the consequence of our perception of the disease, and the consequence of the awareness of the need to keep a distance. In this case, sometimes people need to act against our nature to be connected. And our boundary styles actually shape our response to public and private health. Rethinking the observations of proxemics, and in response to the pandemic proxemics, our design idea is to create a movable and changeable personal space, which generates a fluid, subtle, and movable personal boundary. It expands or shrinks the visible personal space according to the distance to other people, and according to people's perception and psychological needs. The inspiration comes from Victoria's dress, which has an intended effect of distancing people. To control the shape of the wearable device, we use 2 different methods. One is to use joystick placed in the front of the user. When the user sees someone coming, he or she can control the joystick to control the servo motor, then the wearable. When the user pushes the joystick, he or she could push several times to determine the size of the expanded space they want to create. We give users the freedom to do so according to different cultures and habits. When he or she feels well and wants to take things off, the user could simply move the joystick to the right side a couple of times, then the wearable will be back to its original state. However, users are unable to see someone get close on the backside, therefore we use the PIR sensor placed on the back to auto-trigger the servo. The PIR sensors send a signal to servo motors. In this way, the servo arms rotate for a certain angle. The wearable attached to the arms will change shape accordingly. The wearable will not return to its original state unless the person has moved out of the scope of around 3 meters away from the user. With our product, during the pandemic, people can generate their personal space to maintain their safety zone, and it also reminds people to keep distances in this specific time. Also, in crowded urban spaces, our product helps people to keep their personal zone while they feel uncomfortable with close contact with others. Working in the opposite way, our product can also be used to show people's friendliness when they want to be connected to others. The current product has its limits. We only have limited space to place breadboard and Arduino inside of the wearable due to their weight and size. To improve the product, we can 3D print the supporters and resize the breadboard to have more space, therefore to have more diversified shape changes.